That rumbling in your stomach right now, that's not hunger, child. That is a body screaming at you because you have trained it like a spoiled child, and it has not gotten its fix in the last 4 hours. My name is Ida May. I am 108 years old. I have not eaten breakfast before 10 in the morning since 1962. I have not eaten a single thing after sundown in longer than I can remember. And I am sitting here talking to you with a clear head, sound joints, and a heart that my doctor, God rest his soul, called an embarrassment to modern medicine. He said that, his exact words. Then he died at 71. What I am going to tell you in the next few minutes, they do not teach in medical school. They do not put it on the television. The people who want to sell you a protein shake at 7a.m. are praying you never hear it. But your great-grandmother knew it. My grandmother knew it. And somewhere deep in your bones, you already know it too. You have just been talked out of it. Let me tell you what you did today. You woke up, and before you even saw the sun good, you were already chewing. Cereal, a bar, a drive-through bag eaten with one hand on the wheel. By 10 o'clock, you needed a coffee with sugar in it just to feel human. By noon, you were hungry again. Always hungry. Always chasing the next meal like it's going to be the one that finally satisfies you. It's not going to. You are not hungry. You are addicted. There is a difference between those two things, and nobody in your life has ever told you which one you actually have. You think your body needs constant fuel. You think if you skip a meal, your metabolism is going to shut down, your muscles are going to dissolve, and you're going to faint in the parking lot. You have been told this so many times by so many people that you believe it down to your soul. But here is what you have not been told. Your body is the most sophisticated machine God ever made, and you are running it like a generator you are afraid to turn off. You never turn it off, not ever. And that right there, is the one thing that is slowly dismantling you from the inside. I want to tell you about my sister Betty. Betty was 3 years younger than me. She was the beautiful one. You know how every family has a beautiful one? That was Betty. Wide smile, big laugh. Everybody in the church loved her. She could cook like nobody's business. Biscuits from scratch, sweet potato pie, pork chops in a cast-iron skillet that would make a grown man weep. And she loved to eat. Lord, she loved to eat. Now, when we were girls back in Georgia in the 1930 seconds, we did not eat the way people eat today. There was no eating between meals. There was breakfast. There was dinner in the middle of the day if there was work. And there was supper at sundown. The kitchen closed. That was the rule. Not because Mama read it in a book, but because that's what you did. That's what everyone did. The food ran out and your body figured it out. Betty, though, she married into money. Not a lot of money, but enough. Her husband Raymond ran a hardware store. And the thing about having a little money in 1955 was that for the first time in our family's history, you could eat whenever you wanted. There was always something in the icebox, always a box of something on the counter. Betty thought she had arrived. She thought having food available every hour of every day was what prosperity looked like. She started eating breakfast at 6, a full plate, then something around 9 because she was up doing housework, then a real lunch, then a little something around 3 because Raymond liked a snack when he came in, then supper, then something sweet while they listened to the radio. 6 times a day, every day, the engine was running. By the time she was 55, her knees had given out. The doctors called it arthritis, said it was just age. She was 62 when her blood went bad with the sugar sickness. She was 68 when her kidneys started failing. They had her on a shelf full of pills by the end. 1 pill for this, 1 pill for that, 1 pill to cancel out what the first pill did to her. She died at 74, 34 years younger than me. Now, I am not saying the food killed Betty. Betty had a good life. She was loved. Raymond held her hand every single day of their marriage, and he was not the same man after she was gone. I am not here to drag my sister's memory. I loved that woman with everything I had. But I watched it happen. I watched it happen in real time, slow as a crete drying up in August. And I kept thinking, Betty, your engine is running hot. You never let it cool down. You never let your body catch its breath. Meanwhile, I was still doing what Mama taught me. I ate in the middle of the day, something real, something that came from the earth. And I stopped. Supper, and then nothing until the sun was already climbing again. 16 hours, sometimes more. Not because I read a health book, because that's just what you did. That's how we always did it. I didn't know there was a word for it back then. Now they call it intermittent fasting. They got doctors on television talking about stem cells and autophagy. That's the body cleaning house, eating up its own sick cells, like they invented it yesterday. Honey, my grandmother was doing this during the Depression, not because she was a scientist. She was doing it because there wasn't enough food to eat any other way. And she lived to 91, sharp until the end, working her garden at 88. The poverty was a shield. I didn't understand that until I was well into my 90s. The scarcity that we thought was suffering, the growling stomach, the long, quiet hours between meals, that was the medicine. Your body only has so much energy, and if it is spending every waking hour breaking down food, it has nothing left. Nothing left to clean the blood, nothing left to quiet the swelling, nothing left to sweep out the damage. The repair crew can only come in when the digestion crew clocks out. And you never let the digestion crew clock out. Here's what I finally understood, deep in my bones, the way you understand a thing when you have lived long enough to see both ends of it. Hunger is not an emergency. Hunger is a message. When your stomach goes hollow and quiet, really hollow, not just 2 hours after lunch, your body does not panic. It shifts, the engine cools, and then something remarkable happens. It turns its attention inward. It starts the work it's been meaning to do for years. It finds the dead cells, and it eats them. It finds the inflammation sitting in your joints, and it begins to quiet it. It finds the fog in your brain, and it blows it clear. You heal when you sleep because you're fasting. You've known this your whole life. You wake up and you feel better. But the very second you pour syrup on your pancakes, you fire the repair crew and call the digestion crew back in. The thing nobody tells you is that the emptiness is not the enemy. The emptiness is where the healing lives. That shakiness you feel when you skip breakfast, that is not your body failing. That is the poison leaving. That is the sugar addiction throwing a tantrum in your bloodstream. If you can just sit in that discomfort for one morning, just drink your coffee black and go for a walk, you will find a clean, deep energy on the other side that you have not felt since you were a child running barefoot in July. The body knows how to heal. It has always known. You just have to stop getting in the way. I've been to a lot of funerals in 108 years, more than you can imagine, and I have noticed something that nobody talks about. My neighbor Vera, she was 81, which felt young to me. She had a pantry that looked like a grocery store. She was proud of it. She never missed a meal, never skipped a snack, kept hard candy in every room of the house just in case. She was always complaining about her joints, always tired, always going to the doctor for something new. The doctor kept adding pills, and she kept adding pounds, and the pantry stayed full, and she died at 83 in the hospital with tubes in her arms. 8 pills a day at the end. 8. And then there is my old friend Amos. He is 94 years old. He lives alone on 4 acres outside of Macon. He eats 1 real meal a day, always in the middle of the afternoon, always something he grew himself or bought from the farm stand down the road. He is not a health fanatic. He does not know what a macronutrient is. He just eats the way his father ate and his grandfather before him. He tends his garden in the mornings on an empty stomach, says it makes him sharp. His hands are steady, his eyes are clear. He told me last spring, "Ida May, I have never once been to the doctor for something I brought on myself." Amos is not lucky. Amos just never let his engine run 24 hours a day. So here's what I want you to do. Not because I read it somewhere, because I have lived it for over a century, and I am standing here as the evidence. First, tomorrow morning when you wake up, do not go to the kitchen. I know what you're thinking, but Ida May, I'll be weak. No, you won't. You'll be uncomfortable. That is different. Drink a tall glass of cold water. Drink your coffee black. Go outside and get the sun on your face. Let the stomach rumble. Rumbling builds character. Don't eat your first meal until the sun is high. At least 4 hours after you wake, better 6. Let your body remember what it already knows. Second, when you do eat something real. Not a bar with 14 ingredients you can't pronounce. Not something in a foil wrapper. Eggs, meat, a vegetable that still looks like it came from the ground. Real food doesn't need a label. Feed the body something worth digesting. Third, when the sun goes down, close the kitchen. I mean it. Close it. No chips in front of the television. No bowl of something sweet at 10 o'clock. Give your body 14, 16 hours of uninterrupted quiet, every single night. That is when the repair crew comes in. That is when your blood gets cleaned. That is when your knees stop screaming at you. You have to give it the silence to do the work. And fourth, if you feel a sickness coming on, if your joints are swollen and angry, and you feel that deep rot setting in, try giving it 36 hours. Just water, just rest. Watch what your body is capable of when you finally step aside and let it do what God designed it to do. They built a whole medical system on keeping you sick, and a whole food system on keeping you hungry. The only way to win is to walk away from the table. Your body knows how to heal itself. It just needs you to stop interrupting. I am tired now. Talking takes a good bit of wind out of me these days. But before I go, I want to say one more thing. The food is the fuel, but it is not the engine. The engine is your will to still be here. You got to have a reason to get up in the morning. You got to have something to love. I have my coffee and my crossword and my great-grandchildren calling on Sundays. That's enough. That keeps the light on. But honey, you cannot keep the light on if you have been burning the house down from the inside since breakfast. If this made some sense to you, if you heard something today that your grandmother would have told you, share it with somebody you love who is running themselves into the ground, one granola bar at a time. Leave me a comment and tell me, when was the last time you went 6 hours without eating? What happened? I read every single one. And if you want more of these conversations, the kind they don't have on the television, subscribe. We'll be here. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's almost time for my afternoon meal, and not a moment before.